Hello everyone and welcome to our video presentation for BTM532, which is Management of Digital Transformation. Before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Nur Harid bin Nur Azam. So today, our group is diving one of the most famous cautionary tales of business history, which is BlockBuster LCC. In the 1990s, BlockBuster was the undisputed king of home entertainment. With over 9,000 stores globally, renting a movie was a Friday night ritual. But beneath the surface of this retail giant lay a rigid, physical work process that was highly vulnerable to technological disruption. In this 20 minutes of presentation, we will evaluate the BlockBuster core using the HINGE approach. The first one is horizon scanning. The second one is internal audit. And the third one is new model generation. And the last one is a gap analysis. Our goal is to dissect why your physical workflow failed and propose a digital transformation model that could have saved the world empire.
Hi, my name is Nofitra binti Khairul Izani and my metric number is 2025186125. So let's begin with the horizon scanning. To understand why we selected BlockBuster movie rental workflow, we have to look at what was happening in the external environment during the late 90s and early 2000s. On the horizon, two massive disruptive forces were brewing: technological evolution and a shift in a consumer behavior. First, the internet was evolving from a slow dial-up to high-speed broadband. Second, physical media was shifting from bulky VHS tapes to compact DVDs, making mail-order delivery incredibly cheap. Enter a new competitor in 1997, Netflix. They scanned the horizon and introduced a mail-order DVD subscription system with no late fees. This completely redefined what convenience meant to the consumer. The rationale behind selecting BlockBuster's traditional rental work process for this case is very simple. It served as a perfect baseline to analyze how a massive, successful corporate workflow can become obsolete almost overnight if it ignores external technological indicators. Blockbusters failed to realize that customers did not love driving to store, they loved watching movies.
Hi everyone, for part 3 of HINGE, which is the I later, we will look into internal audit of BlockBuster traditional business model. Before we can design a digital transformation strategy, we have to understand this legacy baseline. When you look at the flowchart, the main takeaway is that the entire process was heavy, manual, and strictly tied to physical stores. Every single step in this 5-step loop required human labor, physical infrastructure, and moving plastic discs around. Let's break down the first two steps where the inventory and retail friction begin. Let's start with step 1, procurement. BlockBuster had to buy massive amounts of physical stock like DVDs directly from movie studios. Because they were physical items, they had to predict consumer demand weeks in advance. This tied up an incredible amount of capital in inventory upfront. Next is step 2, merchandising. Once shipments arrived at the local store, the process relied entirely on manual labor. Staff had to unpack boxes, catalog the arrivals into the system, and arrange the plastic cases on the retail shelf. This took hours of workings every week, meaning staff spent their time managing plastic boxes instead of focusing on customer. Let's continue with step 3, checkout process. This happened at the front counter and relied entirely on human touch points. Clerks had to manually scan a physical membership card and then scan the barcode sticker on every single DVD case. While this offered a friendly face-to-face presence, it was highly inefficient. During peak hours, like Friday nights, it caused massive bottlenecks and long lines. This brings us to step 4, the manual return process. This process represents the highest point of customer friction. To return a movie, customers had to physically get back in their cars, drive to the store, and drop the media through a physical slot in the wall. The loop ends with step 5, restocking. Staff had to empty the return bins manually, sort through the DVDs, and place them back on the shelf one by one. From a business technology perspective, this entire 5-step cycle was slow, expensive, and relied completely on physical labor. Let's move into our next point, which is to evaluate the resources and keeping this machine running. To support this manual workflow, BlockBuster required thousands of local store clerks, managers, and a complex supply chain of delivery trucks just to move physical copies around the country. On a store level, a single location required 5 to 10 staff members per shift. Running 5 to 10 staff members per shift created a very heavy, expensive operational footprint. If we look closer at operational performance, we can clearly see what was working versus what needed urgent improvement. On the positive side, BlockBuster had great brand recognition. They generated massive food traffic and made high margins on impulse buys like candy, popcorn, and also not to forget their soda. On the negative side, physical shelf space is limited. Popular new releases were frequently out of stock, which directly led to low sales and frustrated customers who left empty-handed. But the biggest issue our audit highlights is BlockBuster's reliance on customer friction. Look at the pie chart on the right. Late fees made up roughly 16% of their total revenue. Making a significant profit from a negative customer experience left them wide open to disruption. When a digital competitor like Netflix came along and eliminated late fees altogether through a cloud-based model, BlockBuster could not compete. This internal audit highlights the exact operational pain points and financial vulnerabilities that our digital transformation plan aims to solve. Thank you.
Now, I will proceed with new model generation for BlockBuster company. To elevate BlockBuster's digital maturity, our group proposes a new model generation. Instead of attempting to optimize physical storefronts, we are completely re-engineering the business model into a centralized, cloud-based subscription video on-demand workflow, or VOD. We are not just moving movies online, we are fundamentally changing how value is delivered to our customers. At the heart of this transformation is our new cloud infrastructure. By migration away from localized retail inventory, we eliminate massive overhead costs like real estate, physical disks, and logistics. Instead, our centralized cloud architecture enables instant simultaneous streaming to millions of users. This structure ensures high availability, seamless scaling during peak hours, and a zero-friction user experience. But a cloud model is only as good as its delivery. Our new subscription VOD workflow introduces a predictable recurring revenue stream. No more late fees, no more driving to a store, and no more out-of-stock titles. Through content delivery networks or CDNs, we will catchy media closer to end users, ensuring buffer-free playback on any device, anywhere at any time. We are replacing the physical shelf with an infinite digital catalog. Furthermore, this digital pivot unlocks our greatest asset, user data, by analyzing streaming patterns, watch times, and search queries in real time. Our centralized system will power a personalized recommendation engine. We will transition from a reactive business that awaits for customers to walk through the door to a proactive service that curates their next favorite film. In summary, this is not a digital facelift, it is a total revolution. By embracing a cloud-based VOD workflow, we secure operational efficiencies, predictable revenue, and data-driven growth. We are bringing BlockBuster into the future. Let's look under the hood at the automated digital user workflow. The experience begins with total friction removal. The customer subscribes via a flat monthly recurring fee, completely eliminating the concept of a checkout deadline or late fees. We are replacing transaction anxiety with pure convenience. When a user logs in, a machine learning recommendation engine immediately analyzes past viewing history to instantly suggest content. This entirely solves the old brick and mortar out-of-stock problem. If a movie exists, it's available. Once a title is selected, the playback is streamed instantly via adaptive bitrate technology. This ensures a crystal clear, uninterrupted stream that dynamically adjusts to the user's internet speed, whether they are on a mobile device or a home theater. By shifting to this automated digital model, BlockBuster fundamentally changes its core value proposition from a physical distribution to seamless on-demand entertainment access. To transition smoothly, we don't just pull the plug on our existing footprint. Instead, we recommend a brilliant hybrid transformation step called BlockBuster Total Access Digital. This allows seamless data syncing between our remaining physical digital kiosks and online users' profiles. A user can browse on their phone, pick up a physical copy at a kiosk if they prefer, or stream it directly. Their watch history and preferences move with them across both worlds, acting as a bridge that guides our legacy customer into the digital age. Ultimately, this combined strategy ensures the new workflow maximizes asset availability, scales infinitely without physical store, real estate costs, and builds highly predictable monthly recurring revenue streams. We are leveraging our physical past to dominate our digital future.
Hello, my name is Nur Kamilia Izzati binti Muhammad Nur Hairi. My ID number is 2025196767. Now, let's conduct a truth gap analysis to understand what it takes for BlockBuster to shift from its current state to this future digital model. This requires a look at three critical areas, which is data, people, and skills. First, the data gap. The old model only tracked basic transaction receipts and physical inventory counts at local stores. The new digital model requires massive real-time data infrastructure to track user viewing behavior, click-through rates, and streaming bandwidth performance across millions of concurrent users. Second, people and skills. This is BlockBuster's biggest hurdle. The existing human capital consists of retail stock clerks, stock handlers, and brick-and-mortar logistic managers. The future state demands an entirely new talent roster, like software engineers, cloud architects, UI/UX designers, and data scientists. Managing this digital transition means completely retaining or aggressively hiring for tech capabilities. Now, let's evaluate work effectiveness. Who benefits from this digital transformation? The customer benefits immensely from instant access and personalized curation. The organization benefits from massive overhead reductions, no store utilities or rents, and predictable subscription revenue. However, are there any weaknesses to this new work process? Yes, shifting to digital streaming creates a heavy reliance on external cloud providers, introduces cybersecurity risks like data breaches, and requires continuous capital reinvestment to maintain server infrastructure and license high-quality digital content.
To conclude, evaluating BlockBuster through the lens of the HINGE approach revealed a profound lesson of the management of digital transformation. Survival in the modern business ecosystem is not just about having a recognizable brand, but it's about the agility of your core workflows. By scanning horizontally, auditing internal friction point, generating an automated subscription model, and addressing organizational gaps, BlockBuster could have successfully transitioned from a failing retail giant into a pioneering digital powerhouse. Alright, thank you for listening to our presentation. We look forward to your feedback and we are ready to take any action. That's all from us. Thank you.